But folks, what this climate plan entails is where the carbon taxes come into it. Look, here it says the background. The green transition involves a mechanism called carbon pricing. Carbon pricing puts a price on greenhouse gas emissions to incentivise customers to make greener choices, basically meaning you won't be able to afford your turf, your coal, so you're going to use what they want you to use. In Ireland, this takes the form of a carbon tax on consumer fossil fuel purchases and a requirement on large emitters to purchase emission permits as part of the EU emissions trading system, because everything it stems from the framework from the UN, which is turned into policies from the EU, and then we turn them into policies here. Carbon prices are gradually increased over time, which contributes to higher fossil fuel prices and can make certain aspects of life, such as transport and heating for homes and businesses, more expensive, because you will own nothing and you will be happy. This is exactly what they're trying to do, and people just really need to open their eyes to it. In July 2021, the EU Commission published a Fit for 55 package, a set for proposal to revise EU legislation with the aim of ensuring EU policies are in line with the Union's climate goals, because everything is the Sustainable Developmental Goals. You might think it's coming from the EU, but it's all coming from the UN. Included in this package was a proposal to extend the existing EU emissions trading system, which is the EU ETS, to encompass to the buildings and road transport sector, because they don't want anyone driving diesel or petrol, they want them all to be electric. The increase in price of fossil fuels due to the introduction of ETS2 is likely to have a disproportionate negative impact on vulnerable households. But do they care? Absolutely not. The Social Climate Fund is the first EU fund developed with the explicit purpose of alleviating potential energy and transport poverty occurring from the transition towards clean mobility and a decarbonised built environment. And anybody that's out there telling you that they can get Ireland carbon neutral is not for the people, they're for the establishment. You really need to open your eyes and listen to the words certain people use, because they're nothing more than state puppets bringing you right in the back door. They might claim to want to be there for their country, or that all they care about is their country, but listen to the words they use. They openly tell you that they can get Ireland carbon neutral. They are not for the people, they're for the establishment. The Department of Climate, Energy and the Environment, DCEE, is currently developing a national social climate plan. I'll do a video about that later on to show you exactly what they have planned, which will set out measures to be co-financed from the EU Social Climate Fund, because all the money stems from the EU and the UN, over the period 2026 to 2032. Over the lifetime of the plan, Ireland can recoup up to 75% of the cost of the eligible measures within the plan, to a maximum of 663 million from the EU Social Climate Fund. The focus of this plan is investment in long-lasting, socially fair measures aimed at supporting vulnerable groups. It says this, but it really isn't. It's there to cripple the average household. It's there to ensure that you're just going to follow what they want you to do and go green, whether you like it or not. There's also a public consultation that they're asking for business owners, small SMEs, or the likes of me and you, an average person, to just go and give your input. So I beg everybody to go and fill out this public consultation, but also fill out this survey as well. I'll attach the 2 links in this video for people to do this, because that's how you have your say with these parasites, because everything they do is written. In this consultation, we are setting out a number of options aligned with the provisions of the regulation, which could potentially be funded through the Irish Social Climate Plan, which is the other document I told you I'll speak about later. It is important to note that this is not a list of areas that have been agreed for funding at this stage, but see, they have at this stage underlined, because we all know it's coming. Everything they do is already pre-planned. The department wants to hear the views from all interested parties on how the plan can be best developed within the EU rules, not the Irish rules or Irish law, EU law and UN policies, frameworks govern the plan to ensure that the investments will be allocated to the most appropriate supports for the most vulnerable to rise in fossil fuel prices, be socially fair, and will provide long-lasting support solutions once you go green and do what these little puppet masters get you to do. The consultation is open to all in Irish society. In particular, we would like to hear from local and regional authorities. Now, that's your councillors. There's all your local councillors who got selected this year, and I haven't heard any of them speak about this, because why are they not talking about what's coming, what the people are about to face? Instead, they just keep focusing on immigration like it's our only problem, and it's just a distraction so they can bring all these policies in the back door. But each one of them councillors that got selected this year all know about this, because they've all sat and had meetings about it, and still they're silent on it. Because why? They'd rather keep their paycheck. Every one of them are sellouts, each and every last one of them. And if any of you have a problem with me saying that, come and confront me. I've no problem debating you. They'd like to speak to the local and regional authorities, representatives of economic and social partners, relevant civil society organisations, youth organisations. I find that one frustrating as well, because they're teaching children about the climate change and as if it's a danger to us. So they're all going to be brainwashed into thinking this is a great idea. Individuals from the Irish public who wish to express their opinion on the measures should be developed to support vulnerable groups impacted by the rising prices of carbon, and stakeholder businesses, organisations, representative bodies and other groups which are impacted by the rising price of carbon, or represent vulnerable groups which are impacted by the rising price of carbon. So you could fill it out for yourself, and then you could also fill it out for your elderly parents or grandparents, because they're the ones going to be most impacted. They won't be able to use their turf or their coal, or be able to afford diesel or petrol for their car, because the prices are just going to continue to rise and people are going to continue to pay because all they know is to comply. It's, folks, I don't really know what to say except for please do these surveys and the consultation, and let these people know exactly how much we're against this nonsense. Responses will always, you can do the consultation online, or you can do it via email, or you can handwrite it in. So if you want to email it in, you can send it to scp@dcee.gov.ie, or you can post it to Just Transition and Sectoral Policies Section, Department of Climate, Energy and the Environment, Tom Johnson House, Haddington Road, Dublin, DO4K7X4. Or I'm going to attach the link now where you can do the consultation here. And it's down at the very bottom of this page. If you just look, you can click into it and you'll be able to fill it out there. But this is the document I'll be speaking about later on, which is the Regulation EU 2023-955, which provides for the establishment of a social climate fund, and then Ireland's social climate plan, which is the 2026 to 2032 document, because they all link in together, because everything these parasites do is connected. Absolutely everything, folks.